Let's seize this moment to start anew, to carry the dream forward, and to strengthen our union once more.
All right, the speech is mercifully over. All right, now he's going to shake hands and there's going to be a lot of applause. All right, I got to break this thing down, man. Come to me. All right, I have to be honest with you. Didn't like it. I thought it was one of his least inspired speeches. It seemed to drag. He seemed tired throughout, sometimes pausing for way too long. Don't get me wrong, the Republicans were jerks throughout the speech. They laughed, they were derisive, mocking at times, a lot of times grumbling. That's the lesson they learned from Joe Wilson. If you are rude during the State of the Union speech, you might raise more money from your Republican base. And that's what we got from Joe Wilson. Now, I didn't hear any shouting out, but there were many times when he said, oh, we got a controlled deficit or whatever it might be, and they're like, yeah, like you would, yeah. And it looked ugly to me, absolutely ugly. Now, that's the Republican side, but the main thing is Obama's speech. And it was just non-stop appeal to bipartisanship. Dude, get over it. They're not going to vote for you. What's that book? He's just not that into you. Okay? The Republicans, I hate to break it to you, Obama, they're just not that into you. They're never going to be into you. And the more you give speeches about, please, 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 will you work with me? It's beginning to look, I don't want to overstate it, and pathetic is a strong, strong word, but it's beginning to look sad. He keeps looking over there like, come on now, you guys, you want to work with me, right? No, they don't want to work with you. And you can say it 100 times in the next 4 years, and you're still going to get 0 votes. The way you get bipartisanship isn't by asking nicely. Bush and Cheney got bipartisanship all the time. And did they ever ask nice? No. They did it by saying, if you don't vote with me, we're going to kick your ass. And you know what? You're going to lose your seat. And then when Daschle lost his seat, the Democrats lost their nerve. They said, oh my God, Bush and Cheney, they're going to kick my ass. And they voted with Bush and Cheney would hold it up and go, see, bipartisanship. Got a bunch of Democrats to sign on the goddamn line, right? Now, Obama, on the other hand, said, please, please, please. 0 votes. None. 0. It was 0 this year. It'll be 0 next year. Okay? So, if I felt like 80% of the speech was, can we please work together? It was the Rodney King speech. Can't we all just get along? No, we can't. It's time to kick their ass. Okay? Now, I'm not saying that because, I like to fight and I'm a tough guy, la, 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 right? No, I'm talking to you about what's practical and pragmatic. If you want to get change done, then you can't work with the Republicans because they've already made it abundantly clear. And I didn't even think that when he started because I thought, hey, you know what? There might be a different political reality. And the Republicans have lost so much in 06 and 08. Maybe they'll turn around. Maybe they'll see the political value in working with the Democrats. But now the jury's in. It's been a year. They've made a decision that they're not going to help you with any change. So if you want that change, what you got elected for, well, then you have to push harder and not be nicer, not to reach out more, but to kick more ass. I'm not saying that because it's going to make us feel better. I'm saying that for practical reasons so that we can actually get the job done. Now, I got to talk to you about the substance in the speech, okay? There were some new things. He pushed for nuclear power plants more. I think that's an open and interesting question. Some progressives are against it, but I think we need to explore that more. He talked about doubling exports. You know what? That's a tall order. That's a heavy promise. If you ask me, I wouldn't have gone in that direction. If you can double exports, I'd love it, but it seems like too much to promise. He talked about cutting out the middleman in college loans and forgiving loans in 20 years or if you work in public service in 10 years. Look, those are bold proposals. I like those proposals. Those middle guys, as usual, same thing happened in the finance world. Same thing happens in healthcare. They're just ripping us off. That would save a lot of money to the U.S. government, and it would save a lot of money to students across the country. If you can get that done, that would be terrific. All right, now, the executive order on the bipartisan commission on reducing the deficit. Look, this thing's a scam. okay, if they actually were going to reduce the deficit, I'd be the first person in favor of it. But they're not going to tell you to reduce defense spending. They're not going to tell you to raise taxes. They're going to tell you to cut Social Security and Medicare. We already know it. It's been pushed by right-wingers. We trace it on the show for you guys. Right-wingers have been pushing this so-called bipartisan commission, loaded with corporatist senators from both sides. For all of this time, it's a transfer of money from the middle class to the rich. And the Senate voted it down. And I was wondering, why is he proposing it again? They already had the vote. And now he's going to say he's going to do an executive order on it. We don't get any executive order on any progressive priorities, not on health care, not on financial reform, not on anything. The one executive order to get around Congress is the one time that they're going to do a commission that's going to, likely tell us to cut Social Security and Medicare. Bad idea, terrible idea. And now, on the other hand, he says, let's publish online the earmark spending. Now, a lot of Republicans and Democrats don't like that because they like to do the pork barrel spending. But I care about reducing the deficit. I think that's a good step forward. Yes, let's definitely publish those. It's small, but I like it. Then he said, combat troops out of Iraq by August. Again, if he can deliver that, great, I'm in. And then finally, the biggest piece of news actually from tonight was repealing Don't Ask, Don't Tell. Now, my sense was that he was not going to push for that in the beginning because he thought that hurt Clinton when he pushed for it too early on that same issue. Of course, Don't Ask, Don't Tell was a Clinton initiative eventually after that issue was pushed by Clinton in the beginning. Now it's been a year, and I said my guess was that he would get to it around now. He has gotten to it. He'll probably take some heat from the Republicans on that. That shows some courage, and I like that, okay? But overall, there was not enough of a case made for progressive policies and priorities. You got to come out there and say, this is why it makes sense for us to get tough on the bankers, and specifically this, this, and this. Here's the regulation I want. Here's the regulation that the Republicans removed. And that's what caused the collapse, okay? And then I can go down the list on every single issue where he should have been tougher with the Republicans. If you don't make your case to the American people that the Republicans got us into this mess and caused this catastrophe, then they're never going to know to support you, and especially when they hear you over and over again saying, as you did in this speech, oh, let's cut taxes further, and let's appease the Republicans more, and let's reach out to the GOP more, and let's do commissions on deficit reductions that aren't really about deficit reduction. And the list goes on and on and on. So in the end, I thought the speech overall was too weak, fairly uninspired, and if he continues to go down this path of so-called bipartisanship, he's not going to get the job done. I'm deathly afraid that this spells another lukewarm year of reaching out, so-called reaching out, and not getting it done. I hope I am wrong, and the devil will be in the details. What is he going to actually propose? Speeches are good. Sometimes they lay the groundwork for what you're going to do next. But you got to deliver. And if he delivers on specifics of financial regulation, then great, okay? But I'm afraid. And I wasn't overjoyed with the tenor of this speech, as you can tell. I wasn't overjoyed by the Republican reaction to it, and I wasn't overjoyed by the speech itself. By the way, one of the new proposals I forgot to mention is, of course, the new jobs bill. But again, the problem with these speeches is, and I'm not saying don't have the speech. I'm not blaming Obama in particular for this. But the nature of the speech is, when you say, I've got a new jobs bill, and you don't tell me what's in it, of course, that's for another day. But without knowing what's in the new jobs bill, I have no idea if I'm in favor of it or not. I mean, generically, progressives are supposed to be in favor of jobs creation, right? But I don't necessarily fit the exact mold of what a progressive or a liberal or whatever is supposed to do, right? It depends on how you want to do the jobs creation. Does it make sense? Does it not make sense? How much money are you going to spend? In what areas are you going to spend it? So we'll have to see. But, and then the one other thing that I didn't talk much about is the foreign policy part of the speech, right? The rah-rah, Iran, we will not let you get away with this. I'm so tired of it. I know. We're all tough guys. America's number one. USA, USA. Even the Haitians said it. So, you know, we'll kick some Iranian ass. I don't know what it means. You know, and if he's threatening military action, I don't like it. I don't think he is. It's just, I know it's done for the audience at home to feel like he's a good, strong leader. But it annoys me, to be totally honest. And that will conclude our lovely coverage of the State of the Union today. You know, I can't help but say one last thing, which is if we're going to spend the next year trying to reach out to Republicans to grab 1 or 2 votes, it will be a fool's errand. Don't go in that direction. Go in the other direction, which is deliver the change that people voted for. That's the most important thing. Young Turks.